Yes, people, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the programme. Channel's back. Me and Lee Judges are back. Football is back. This midweek has been mad. I must say, 9 days without Arsenal, I said it on my channel earlier, feels like a lifetime, to be fair. But football tonight was pretty entertaining, but just not the way that we wanted it to go. I'm your host, as always, Dan Potts. I'm with Lee Judges. Lee, before we talk about the night's football prizes is back, my friend. So
yes, football prizes is
this
back.
one. This one, I'm even excited about this one, mate. I can't lie to you. This one looks brilliant. I'm going to put it up on the screen.
Yes, put it up on the screen, like, you know what I mean? And listen, football prizes have come up with a blockbuster of this one. This is the biggest, I think, the biggest ever Arsenal competition. Dennis Bergkamp signed custom framed Arsenal shirt with a built-in TV, Dan, showing all like his best bits as well, like, you know. An instant win for $3.95. You all you got to do is buy a ticket and you put yourself in the raffle for that, like, you know, and a chance to win that is unbelievable. But that's not all, Dan, because like you can also, there's like features on this backdrop, customized LED lighting and all that, like, you know. I don't know where, if I had that, I don't know where I'll put it. I think I wouldn't put it on the wall. I think have to put it in the bed. I think that's what I'll have to do, like, you know. but not only that, there is 19 instant prizes also to be won, memorabilia from Declan Rice, Zinchenko, Vieira and more. So if you don't win this one, you've got another chance of winning some fantastic memorabilia. It's absolutely unbelievable prize. And they've done it again, like, and I think it's let's just see. I think it's Tuesday, the 6th of February is the last date for this, like, you know. So it's been going for a week or so now, like, you know. But listen, Dennis Bergkamp, without a doubt, one of the best players in the Arsenal history, as far as I'm concerned. And to get a signed shirt with him with all of those sort of little gadgets and little accessories with it, you know, for $3.95. Well, yeah, get your tickets, guys, and good luck with that, because that is one hell of a prize to have, like, you know.
Yeah, listen, that really is something for me. The best player to ever wear the shirt. I know a lot of people have a huge debate whether it was Henry, Vieira, Bergkamp, Brady. The names go on, but for me, when I see that name, I'm getting one of those tickets, man, because I want it in for one of those, mate. I tell you what, that is an unbelievable prize, and for me, anything with Bergkamp on the back of it, I'll have. He is what? Well, I know that you disagree that he's the best ever, but whenever we talk about it, it's always like you're slagging one of the other ones off. You can't talk bad on this bloke. You know, Dennis Bergkamp for me.
And listen, I'll tell you this, guys. Like, you know what I mean? My mate Steve. I'll tell you this now, a little story. You know, like they do these little competitions at the Arsenal and all that. Like, well, he won a signed. He just put himself in for it and won a bloody signed shirt of last season, all the players, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know a place which does framing, so I actually went down and said, "Oh, I'll get that frame for you," like, you know. So to get a shirt framed, it was £150, Dan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to get a framed shirt, just like, you know, like that one at the back there, same,
yeah,
Charlie Nicholas one at the back there, like, you know. I know you can't see it, but you've probably seen it before.
I've seen it before, yeah.
Yeah, £150. Got me Ian Wright one down there. So the £150. This has got all like built-in TV and lights and all that. Like, how much the frame will be is incredible. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I think it's got to be £300 for the frame at least, and $400. You know, then the Bergkamp.
It's going to be a grand, isn't it? It's going to be a grand.
It's a grand prize at least. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for $3.95. You know what I mean? Like, unbelievable. Yeah, like, you know, so
you got to get in for that, people. That is what I mean.
Got to get involved in that. Got to get involved.
Me will obviously be going in for it, but you guys have got to do it as well, man. Because one of us getting the chance to win that. Christ, imagine that someone from this channel winning that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. If you do win it and you're on this channel, let us know and send me a photo of it, like, because hopefully it would be one of us that wins it, like, you know. So, but that is unbelievable.
Hopefully it'll be me, Lee. Send you a picture.
Well, like, yes, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, you know, listen, I'm going to put my money into it, and if I do win it, I'm going to give it to you because he's your favourite player. Like,
oh, mate, that's love. That is love.
Thank you. That is love. That is love.
And if I win a Havertz one, I'll give it to you. All right.
Thank you very much. That's love, Dan. That is love. You know what I mean? Like, you know? I hear that the Kai Havertz one, they're setting it up and it's $4.99. You know what I mean? So there you go.
Yeah, it probably is. Probably is, bro. Listen, before we go to Arsenal, let's touch on today's results because tonight it didn't go our way, bro. I can't lie. I thought it might have at one stage. I saw Brentford went 1-0 up. I thought I might be able to laugh at them. And then, to be fair, I watched most of that game, and Brentford were unlucky not to equalise at the end. Liverpool absolutely battered Chelsea, which we'll touch on first. And let's be real, Man City did what I thought Man City would do to Burnley. Didn't really go our way there, Lee. But the one that I do want to touch on is Liverpool because I thought Chelsea was shambolic, mate. Absolutely awful. However, Liverpool turned it on, and the young lad, Connor Bradley, I think he looks a player.
Oh,
I really,
what player
really
he
was
looks,
impressed with him. He looks fantastic. And Liverpool, to be honest, got what they expected after Jurgen Klopp making the announcement that he's going. Mate, they're going to be tough for the weekend, Liverpool. They're on fire tonight, man.
Yes. Look, I know you can say that they're on fire tonight, but come on. This Chelsea side, I've got to have a little chat about Chelsea.
No, let's do it.
I mean, they're, and Pochettino done wonders at Tottenham. Really made him into a very, very good side. But since leaving Tottenham, I don't think he's really hit the heights of what he should have done. Not really gone on. And the money that the Chelsea have spent, they should be a lot better than what they are. They're a shambles at the back. Their midfield's not good enough. You know what I mean? What has happened to Casido? I was absolutely purring over him. Like, he looks like about £20 million player, Dan.
Agreed.
115 million spent on him. Well, I'm sorry. I watched him at Brighton. He was sensational. But I'm watching him now. You know, Conor Gallagher's their best midfield player. You know what I mean? Like, they're so poor. Lamina hasn't even featured. I don't know what's happened to him. And up front, you know what I mean? Sterling, there's a lot of money spent on him, Dan. You know what I mean? Come on, I'm not.
They've spent £1 billion, mate, and they look worse. This is the worst Chelsea side I've seen in 2 decades, mate. And they've spent £1 billion and got worse. And I will say this, right, while we're on Chelsea, Pochettino did really well with Tottenham. But if he was at Chelsea and he did what he did at Tottenham with Chelsea, would they have thought he was really good? No. They would have thought he was all right. He got to a Champions League final with Tottenham and he got into the top 4 with them and he come third in a 2-horse race. If that was Chelsea, they would have come third and got to a Champions League final and lost and they would have got into the top 4. They wouldn't have gone, wow, get this manager in here now. He is a winner. They would have. So I always thought, why did they go for Poch? Do they really think he's the guy? And the other thing I'll say about it is, this guy, 2 things. He's not a winner because he ain't won anything. He won at PSG, but that was in his second attempt because he failed to win it in the first attempt. And the other thing is, he's apparently brilliant at coaching young players, but no one can tell me the young players that he's made brilliant. Tell me the young players that he has made brilliant. I don't know many. You can give me Harry Kane if you want. Dele Alli, where's he now?
Yeah, he did do well with Dele Alli, though. There was a bit of it.
But look at where these players are now and tell me which. All right, then I'll ask you it differently. Name me a player who's in their 30s now that goes, Pochettino's made me where I am today. As a 22, 23-year-old, if it weren't for Poch those 7 years ago, I'd never be where I am at 30. Kyle Walker, do you put his career down to Poch? I don't. I put it down to Pep. But
yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So he's coming to Chelsea. How can I reel these off? I'm struggling to pick freely. But apparently he's brilliant with young players.
I do see what you're saying, and that is a bit of a worry from that point of view. Listen, as you know, I was at a party with Ryan on Saturday, and he talks about how magnificent he was. You know what I mean? Like, what a fantastic manager he was and everything like that. And, of course, got him in the first team.
I've no doubt he was a magnificent manager. But my point is he going to win stuff with Chelsea?
No, the ironic thing is he could win something with Chelsea with a far worse team than he's ever had at Tottenham. You know what I mean? He's going in the final of the League Cup. Listen, he got to a League Cup final with Tottenham, didn't he? And they got beat by Chelsea, ironically. So I don't know. I think that at the end of it, Chelsea had gone down a route that, I never thought that they would go down when Abramovich has left. And realistically, Chelsea are now back to where they've always been, as far as I'm concerned, Dan. I've spent a load of money, but there's no real headlines that they've got stuff 4-1 and things like that. Like everybody's sort of expecting of them, really, like, you know. So I think that, you know, can I say it? I quite enjoy it that where they are, Chelsea.
Absolutely, mate.
I've got no I don't feel bad about that neither. Like, you know what I mean? Long may it continue. Like, you know, listen, they got in there and with the Abramovich money, and yeah, good luck to them for that. Like, you know, but listen, at the end of it, like, you know, they are a poor side, and if they win the League Cup, does that make them a successful season? I'm not so sure, really, Dan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is true.
Well, it's similar to Man United, wasn't it, last year?
Yeah, and it is
To win a
silverware and
trophy, then
everything.
they've had success. But you look at the position you'd rather be in. It's like
Yeah,
Man United. For me, it don't really matter. It's two different questions. Have they had a better season than someone? Yeah, because they've lifted the trophy. Would you rather be in their position or Liverpool's, who might not win a trophy, or Arsenal's might not win a trophy? Then that's a different question. You might rather be in the other. Do you see what I'm saying? But for me,
yeah.
Chelsea are a million miles off the title. I mean, a million miles.
Oh, without a doubt. And I'll tell you what, like, you know, what I'm seeing of this Premier League at this moment in time, there's some good teams, like, you know, like the four, you know, Man City, Liverpool are a class above. Then you've got Arsenal, Tottenham, and Villa, and then under that, really, I'm not that impressed with the Premier League, if I'll be honest. So there's a lot of teams, Dan, that make it difficult for the opposition, but did you find it at the moment? There's a lot of teams that are just ready to sit back and just go into a low block and not really look
It's
to.
funny. I don't know if you heard Talk Sport last night. As an Arsenal fan called up Jamie Awara and Jermaine Pennant and said exactly that. He said, "Oh, boys, I've gone to Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Oh, they're awful, absolutely terrible teams. I think he mentioned Sheffield United playing them as well. He's like, this Premier League quality is just completely gone. He's like, there's none of these teams I look at now and go, wow. I mean, maybe he was being a bit over the top, but I kind of got what he meant. I didn't. I
Yeah,
don't look
I didn't see that, but I'm kind of getting what I'm watching at the moment. I'm watching teams, for instance, like I haven't seen the game today. I've got match of the day. I thought I'd watch that, but I've seen this. You know, like this Chelsea side is the worst. This is the worst, this Chelsea side than it was 25 years ago. Like, at least they was in the top 4
100%.
or 5. You know what I mean? Like, and challenging. Like, you know what I mean? Newcastle this season blowing hot and cold. Nowhere near at the standards that they were last season. Brighton are shocking me at the moment. 4-0 loss against Luton. You know what I mean? They beat Spurs the other week 4-0. I don't know whether that is because of the European things and all that. Like, and then there's a lot of teams at the moment, like your Brentfords, your Wolves, that can put in 1 week against a big side and then the next week not. You know, so. I've got to say, and you know, we're going to go on to the Arsenal game in a minute, like, but I've gone to a few grounds this season, Dan, when the lack of ambition from the home team is pretty damning, really. Like, you know, in what was supposed to be
low block every time,
yeah,
innit?
in the Premier League, and you know, when you look at it with the Premier League, how can I say it? Like, you know, there's a lot of talented teams out there. Like, you know, I looked at that teams tonight. You know, I mean, I know like Brentford have got players missing, but like, you know, they when these teams decide to give it a go, they're dangerous, Dan. But they don't give it a go. You know?
Agreed. No, I agree. One thing we'll move on to quick. Chaitanya, big up yourself, my bro. Super chat says, big up, lads. Can't see us winning on Sunday. Liverpool are a superior team and well coached. Need a top game. We should honour Klopp at the Emirates also, in my opinion. I did want to question this, actually, Lee. I wonder if there is something that we might do, because this will be Jurgen Klopp's last time at the Emirates, Lee. And I wondered if there was something that Arsenal might do in some form of classy. I don't know if there's something classy that we will do for Jurgen Klopp, or if it's just not necessary, or if there's something we might do towards him, because he has had 8 years at Liverpool and been phenomenal. And I think Mikel Arteta and the club, to be fair, have always tried to be classy when it comes to managers leaving. I know with Sir Alex Ferguson and other people like that. I'm not saying that Jurgen Klopp is in that bracket, but I think he does deserve at least a mention of some kind. And I wondered if you thought there was anything that we might do as a club towards Jurgen Klopp at all, man. I think it's a good point.
Yeah, look, listen, I think there'd be something in the programme, little special mention in the programme. And I'd like to think that when he comes out, that there is a round of applause for him or whatever, like, because I think, in my opinion, I think he's been an unbelievable manager for him. I'm a big fan of Klopp.
Yeah,
I know at times, he irritates you and whatever, like, but that's part of it, like, I know as a footballer, and if you've got to ask me the question, who would you want to play under, Pep or Klopp? I'd go Klopp every time. Every time. I just love the way he puts your arm around you, you know what I mean, and gets you going. I just got a lot of time for him, like, And I also think at the end of the day, I've got a lot of admiration for him and Liverpool over these last few years, and we had a glimpse of it last year, what it's like to chase down and try or hold off Liverpool. Man City. He's done that with Liverpool for 4 or 5 years. And if being really honest, like, come out second best most of the time, but he still picked himself up and got himself going, like, you know what I mean? So I'm a massive, massive fan of his. And I'll tell you this now, I don't care what anybody says, Liverpool will not be as good without him in this side.
I agree with that, Lee. I agree with everything you've said. I'm not going to put it up, but Ian has maybe laughed in the chat, but I'm not going to put it up on the screen. Listen, I do think that there is a level of respect to be shown. I'm not going to go over the top about it because Klopp's leaving and we all know it. We're over it now, but I just wondered if there was anything the club might do. I will say this, though, Lee. It's going to be an unbelievable game at the weekend because both teams need to win this. Liverpool need to win it because they're really serious about this title push. And let's be real, I actually admire Liverpool in the fact that they've gone for every competition this year. They've not chucked one in the bin like we have or chucked two in the bin like we have. They've actually gone for all of them. And people
couldn't agree more.
And people will call it the shit quad. It's the shit quad. If they do it, take the shit quad any day of the week. No one else has done it. Do you know what I mean? So I think they'll win at least 2 trophies this season, Liverpool. I think it will be the Europa League and the Carabao Cup. That's what I think they'll win. And who knows, they might even win a title or an FA Cup as well. You'd have no idea. But all I will say is in the 8 years that Klopp's been there, he's taken every trophy seriously. And he's won literally everything other than Europa League. And if he wins that Europa League, that will literally be tick to every single trophy he's won at Liverpool. So I think he deserves a hell of a lot of credit and respect. For me personally, I think Pep is the one, and I would play under Pep. I just think the guy is just genius, absolutely crazy what he's done to football. But that doesn't mean that Klopp's not. He is unbelievable, and what he's done at Liverpool is phenomenal. But this one's going to be mad. And before we get into this one at the weekend, we mustn't forget that we did play last night. And I must say, Lee, it kind of went our fault. And maybe it was different for you because you were there. I always think it's different when you see it on TV to when you were there. So I'm going to ask you about that in a minute. But this is how I saw it. The team selection last night pleased me, if I'm honest with you. I know what I'm like with Havertz in midfield. I don't think the two are compatible. I don't think the name Havertz and midfield should ever go together. And last night, personally, I was really pleased to see Smith-Rowe given the nod. I was quite surprised that he didn't change much else up, but to be honest, it was not a massive shock, I wouldn't have said. But everybody went into that game, and again, we absolutely dominated the possession, and we seemed to be able to pass it nicely sideways and backwards for the majority of the first half. And I didn't really see much creativity. I didn't really see many shots on target. I didn't really see much happening in the game. And I felt that there was some poor decision-making, particularly in the first half, from players such as Martin Odegaard, Gabby Martinelli, and some hard work from Saka and Jesus, but nothing really coming off from him again. And then it was in the second half that I thought, actually, we turned it on and looked a little bit more like we were going to score. And I was quite impressed by the goals that we did score. I think in the second half, the move from Gabriel Jesus goes in where he hit the post. That would have been talked about as a fantastic goal. I thought the goal that we did score was a real kind of wide, narrow angle. And I know that Turner put it in. And I did try and warn people about this goalkeeper, but he helped us out there. And maybe he thought he was still playing for Arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
He was terrible. And then, obviously, the second goal, a mistake from them, which we capitalised on, and a good finish from Saka. But I wanted to talk about, to start with, to break it down a bit, Lee, your opinions of being there, because for me, it's completely different from watching it on TV. I wanted to start with Smith-Rowe because I thought he played all right. And I hear some people going, oh, unbelievable game. And I hear some people going, don't think he did anything. And I'm like, okay, I must have watched something different then, because I didn't think he was amazing and I didn't think he didn't do anything. I thought he was all right. So I'm like, personally, I liked what I saw from Smith-Rowe. I thought he was driving the ball forward. I thought he was trying to be positive the whole time. I didn't see any keeping the ball, passing it backwards like I do from Havertz. I didn't see any standing still, waiting for it to come to me, tapping it forward. I actually thought he was trying to do something and make something of it. So I didn't think Smith-Rowe had a bad game whatsoever, if I'm honest with you. But wanted to hear from you, because obviously you were there and you might have saw it differently, innit?
No, I didn't think he was bad. I just think he was okay, Dan. I'll be really honest. I'm going to be really honest. I think if Havertz had played, we'd be saying the same. He'd done okay, But in his defence, it's his first game that he's played for a very, very long while. Difficult game to come in and play. Also, like away from home, I think that you get a little bit more of the ball at home, don't you? And things like, even though we had the ball most of the time in this game, but I felt he done okay. I didn't think that it was massively an improvement on Havertz. I don't think that there was. I think that maybe, like, I actually thinking now, like after seeing that game yesterday, I'm thinking maybe it's a system that that whoever they play in here don't seem to get as much of the ball as Odegaard, if I'll be honest, Dan. But I think that he should have probably scored in the first half. I'm not going to have this. I've seen like, he was man of the match, he was superb and all that. Like, listen, he done okay, and Mikel turning around and saying he's a beautiful player to watch. I'm going to agree with Arteta with that. He's better on the eye than a
100%.
Kai Havertz. Do you know what I'm
100%.
saying? Like, I like the way that he moves, the way he touches. You know what I mean? He does. I absolutely, totally agree with what he's saying there, like, about he's good on the eye, is our Emil, like, you know what I mean? He really is,
Do you think there was like an expectation though, Lee? Because a lot of people are like, what was this from Smith-Rowe then? I didn't see much special. What are you expecting? 2 goals and a couple of assists?
Well,
Like, come on, man. Like, what's happening here? Like, we got to
no.
actually see what we see. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting you will go, there we go. That's why Havertz should never get back in. Look at this guy. He's brilliant. But at the same time, I look at it and I hear some people go, don't really think he's any better than Havertz. And I'm like, what did we miss then
Well,
from Havertz?
no, I totally agree.
Like,
I think at the end of the day, you've got to take in consideration game time and everything like that. He's been out for a while, like,
Yeah.
I watched a little bit. I didn't see too much of the Spurs. I was flicking in off and on. Like Maddison looked like he was struggling a little bit. Fitness is something that, you ain't going to just come in and be, unbelievable with. Like, someone was saying, like, earlier on that Tony's come in and scored two goals in the last 2 games straight away. Like, but he's been training all the time, Dan. He's not been injured.
Only scores penalties, though, I was told.
He's a good player, like, but he's what I'm saying is that he's, even though he's been out for a while, he's been fit. You know what I mean? Like Havertz, Smith-Rowe's been injured, and you have to get your fitness back, your touch, and everything like that. And it will take 1 or 2 games for him to come back, like, And listen, when I look at it there, I look at a player that I think Arsenal should go and get, and that is Gibbs White. I'm a massive fan of his. At Forest, look what he was doing yesterday. Like, I mean, I like what his energy and running and all that. Like, that's what you want to see from Smith-Rowe. Is Smith-Rowe capable of doing that? Yes, he bloody well is. But like, give him a couple of games. It'd be really interesting. It's no good playing Smith-Rowe in this game and then him playing in the next game. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens, Dan, on that. Like, for me, I you've made the decision. And brought him into the team. You've got to back it now. Like, I don't see like why you'd bring him in for 1 game and then like go, all right, I'm going to bring him out of that. Like, time's running out for him in this position, because if in the next couple of weeks Thomas Partey's going to be fit, then what happens to him? Like, he certainly lost the place on the left hand side with Martinelli and Trossard. There's them 2 like battling it out. So I don't really see where Smith-Rowe is going to play other than this position. So he's got to nail it in these next couple of games. Did he nail it on this game? No. Did I expect him to nail it? No. I thought he'd done what I expected him to do. He's got minutes under his belt now and needs to kick on. But will he be allowed to kick on? I don't know. I really don't know.
Nah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Let's move to the front three because Gabriel Jesus worked his socks off as he always does. He got a lot of criticism from some, but then obviously some people give him credit for his goal and his assist. And I must say, I don't actually think we win the game if he don't play Gabriel Jesus. I thought he was, he did his job. And Bukayo Saka as well, Martinelli. It's the same old with them three at the moment, Lee. They're not the same from what they were last season, mate. No, by any means, right? In the autumn of last year, they were phenomenal, all three of them. Martinelli, I thought was poor again last night. I've got to say, I was disappointed by Martinelli. Saka, I think it's 10 goals and 10 assists now in all competitions, but he ain't even played that well this season. And Gabriel Jesus, likewise, people are saying ain't the number 9 and ain't going to win us the title. But again, gets a goal and an assist and works hard. What do you make of the front three? Because, I've got to say, out of the front three, Trossard was probably the one that impressed you the most when he come on.
He did. I thought, look, Jesus played really well, smile because I like your smile with our Gabriel, Jesus. He's one of those players. I think that if you're watching him, he just makes you smile all the time because he does things, Dan. I'm looking at him and thinking well, that's outrageous what he does. That was unbelievable what he done there. And then when he has the chance to score, he fluffs his lines a little bit, but you have to forgive him for it because then 5 minutes later he's doing something else and he's scoring. Very, very clever player, Dan. Very, very clever. How he manipulates the ball, even for the goal. I'm going to say it now. Let's be honest. That's poor defending from, If they're playing this low box defending well, and then they switch off from a throw on, where he's allowed to turn in the box and run at our goalkeeper from a throw on. Clever play from him, yes, but realistically, it was poor. And let's be honest, I'm going to be really honest about it. It's an own goal, Dan. It's an own goal. It's an own goal,
Such bad goalkeeping, mate.
It's poor,
absolutely shambolic. I think that goalkeeper is awful, and I've said this for a long time. When we signed him, do you remember we signed him in pre-season? Me and you went, "Oh no, what we got here?" And then everyone was trying to be positive and sing up for him. And I just said, look, we need a new goalkeeper. Now, obviously, we got one, and this caused debate about Ray and Ramsdale, but we can't have him in goal, mate. He is absolutely terrible. I mean, Man United, he was terrible as well. Now, awful. But I think with Jesus, I've got to say this. There's two debates, right? The first argument is if he's good enough for Arsenal's number one striker and win us a title. I think he needs upgrading, right? That's fair. That's a fair debate to have with someone, whether you agree with that or you disagree with it. What I won't have is people who try to tell me he's not good enough. That's wrong for me. When people say JBL Jesus ain't good enough really for Arsenal, he might not be good enough as the number one striker and everyone else is behind him trying to get in to win Arsenal a title, but he's definitely got a place in the squad because he's done it at Man City. And this is where, I've tried to say this to a lot of people. We have bought Manchester City's squad players and tried to make them into first teamers to win us a title, i.e. Zinchenko and Jesus. Because Zinchenko and Jesus never played in the first team for Manchester City. Sergio Aguero was always ahead of Jesus, and he came in as a squad player to rotate. And João Cancelo was a left back, and Zinchenko come in and rotated. So we're trying to use the backups from Man City that won the league in our first team. That's what we're trying to do. And for me, if you're trying to go up against Manchester United to win the league, you might be able to win it with those guys. But you ain't going to go up against Man City who are replacing those with better players and giving us their cast-offs to try and compete with them. We've got to go and do the exact same thing. We've got to go and try and get a better Jesus and a better Zinchenko. And we might have found one in Timber, and we've got to go and get a striker that's better in the summer, right? That's my honest opinion. But what I won't have is that Jesus ain't a good player, because he is. I
thought, listen, Dan, if he doesn't play that game yesterday, we don't win that game. Simple as that. It's not just his goals, it's his hold-up play, the way he pins defenders, the way he works with defenders and everything like that. I think that he was, his work rate and everything that is... I don't think sometimes you don't have to play him as the centre forward. He can play wide right, play wide left. Some people are saying, could he play in the hole? I think he can play anywhere in that front forward, if I'll be honest. So I'm a real big fan of his, but the one thing that he isn't good at, Dan, and I'm not saying that he's poor at it, is his goal scoring. He hasn't got that ruthlessness of a striker. There was one time in the first half he's through and he's looking to pass. Harry Kane would never pass in that situation. He'd whack it in the goal and finish. You know what I mean? Like, have a shot, do this and do that. Like, you know, that is the difference between him and. But there's those strikers, like, they don't want to get involved in the outside bits and all things like that. He does, you know what I mean? So I think it's a real difficult one. Like, you know, I get what you're saying, that we probably need to upgrade a little bit there. With a what I call a selfish, horrible striker. You know what I mean? That in those sort of games when it's tight, he's going to say, right, I'm going to score the goal. Now, I don't know if that's going to take you to the title or not. You know, I don't know, because if you look at Spurs, they've took Harry Kane out of their side, who's a goal scorer and everything like that, and they're probably doing better than what they've ever done. You know what I mean? So it's a very, very thin line between if it's good for you or not. But for me, I thought he was brilliant yesterday. I really do. Apart from, like, you know, has he not scored that chance? You know what I mean? And then against another team, you end up drawing that game. Like, if it's a big game, if we have that chance against Liverpool, he's got to take that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the worry. That is the worry, that he might not take that. Like, you know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see. But I do agree with you that we do need a little bit. And I'm going to be really honest about it. Nothing against Eddie, because I thought he'd done well when he come on and worked hard and all that. But as soon as he went off, the standard of performance dropped a little bit. Like, you know, it did, Dan. You know what I mean? I know, like, you know, Eddie put his body on the line and things like that. But what he didn't do is what Jesus was doing.
Yeah, fair play to you, mate. I thought when Eddie come on, he was awful. I can't lie. But some of the other subs were good. Trossard, I thought Havertz actually was all right, to be fair, when he came on. But listen, it's one of those. Listen, guys, we got 250 of you in here, and we haven't hit 100 likes yet. What's going on? Come on, all you got to do is hit the like button. It's free. Subscribe to the channel. Get us up to 40k, and we're all happy. Lee, I want to talk about us defensively quickly before we do sort of come to close the show. Zinchenko and Ben White getting into a fight at the end.
Love it.
Love it. It was a fight, really. I was going to ask you about it because you were there, but I didn't see it. I just heard about it. I didn't see it. Seen little clips and stuff. But I thought, let me ask you, what did you think of the goal? Because I personally thought Saliba should have done better. He got bossed by a Wanye, who I think is a very, very good centre forward, but one that Saliba shouldn't be getting bossed up against. Zinchenko is ball watching again as a left back, and he's not winning his battle. And I understand why Ben White has got problems with that. And I understand why Ben White's having a go. And actually, I think that's fair for Ben White to have a go at his defence for conceding a goal when we shouldn't have. That's my opinion. But watching it might have been different, bruv.
No, listen, what I see of it, right, and I think what he's had a go at there. And look, listen, Zinchenko, right, hasn't held his ground. Like, all the other three have held their ground. Like, yeah, he's dropped. Right. And when he's dropped, once you drop and the others have held, you have to win that header or stop that cross coming in. He doesn't do that. So that's where he's at fault. Do I blame him for the goal? No, because once he's crossed it, you know what I mean? Like, Saliba should deal with that. Now, what he'll probably, I don't know what's gone on. He's probably saying, look, you know what I mean? I'm going to get the blame for that. Like, you know what I mean? Ben White's probably saying, well, you dropped. You shouldn't have dropped. You know, we've stood our ground. And Ben White, by the way, does that very, very well. Like the diagonal cross ball, he handles it very, very well. Zinchenko didn't. But I don't blame Zinchenko for that. Like, you know what I mean? Really, see, you know, all right, he's dropped. He's not made. Come on, you know what I mean? Get him out of jail. Someone like get him out of jail, you know. And Saliba should get him out of jail there, and he didn't. He didn't get him out of jail, Dan. Like, you know. So
It was disappointing. It was disappointing because it made the last 10 minutes really nervy when it didn't have to be.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, it shouldn't happen. Like, you know, Saliba should be stronger there, Dan. You know what I mean. I don't think like Saliba had one of his better games, but he didn't have a bad game. But like, you know, help him out there. Zinchenko made the mistake by not doing that, and he got there. Listen, we know the story that Kevin's told us. Like, you know that Arsenal won 4-1 against Ipswich. They conceded in the last minute, and Tony Adams and Martin Keown had to be pulled apart in the dressing room because they conceded a goal. They've won 4-1. Bloody love it. That's what you want.
Class.
I've gone and seen games at Sheffield United, like when we lost 1-0 up there. The ball went in, free header, and all the players just went, all right, picked the ball out the back of the net and got on with it. Like, you know what I mean? Standards have gone up, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, and the standards are that they've conceded that goal, put ourselves under the pump. We're not having it, and I quite like that. I quite like that. They ain't going to fall out over it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that they want to do things right, and they don't like to concede a goal like that. And also, when you say you don't like to concede a goal like that, they don't really want to be defending like that in the last couple of minutes when they've dominated the play. But Saliba's got to take the blame for it. Like, and what I see in this is that it seems quite everybody wants to have a little go at Zinny more than they do Saliba, like, you know what I mean? Because Saliba's the golden boy, like, you know what I mean? Let's get it right.
That'll happen.
Saliba should have done better, end of.
Yeah, Saliba should have done better, mate. He got bossed. That's the first thing I said. Zinchenko, likewise, has to take an L as well. But it ain't just one of them. It's a couple of them, and if not more. But listen, we got the result, mate. We got the 2-1. That was what mattered. And then tonight, we could at least relax. Because if you imagine losing points again last night, and then that happens, do you know what I mean? Like, jeez. Manchester City looked dominant. Liverpool looked dominant, to be fair to Spurs. I know they got away with it, but they were 3-1 up at one stage, and it could have gone to a 3-3 draw, but they got away with it, so they put the pressure on everybody as well. This game at the weekend, let's touch on it quickly. I want to ask you a quick question, because I did a show earlier on this. I'd actually changed the midfield again against Liverpool, and I'd play Jorginho.
Yeah.
And then I'd have Declan Rice and Erdegaard in front. When you said yes, I guess you're agreeing. Are you?
Yeah.
Disagreeing?
And
You
that's
agree?
harsh on Smith-Rowe, yeah, I do. I think when we played Man City, Jorginho played, I think we need a little bit more extra security in that midfield. And I would go with Jorginho, like, you know, because I think he just keeps things a little bit neat and tidy, and to keep us playing. We've got to dominate that midfield if we can, like, you know, and I think that that would be the way to do it. I also want to see Thomas Partey on the bench, Dan. I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean? Even if he's not 100% fit, I just want to see him on there. I want to see that. I'll be disappointed. I'm going to be really honest. I'm not having a go at Kai Havertz when I say this. Like, I'll be disappointed if Kai Havertz is playing and then they've left out Smith-Rowe. When I won't be disappointed if Jorginho's in there.
That's fair. No, that's fair, because, you know, Jorginho, I'm not a huge fan of him, Lee. I don't look at him and go, oh, yeah, Jorginho, wow. But at the same time, I think he comes in and does a job, and I think he'll suit that style of play against Liverpool, where you need a little bit of control and calm in that midfield. And I think of the area of the pitch that we need to control, it is that midfield, and that's one we can get at them. I think personally, we've learned a lot from the game we did play against them that we lost, because if we would have taken our chances in that first half, we would have been still in the FA Cup, because it would have been 2 or 3-0 in 25 minutes gone. And unfortunately, we didn't take our chances that day, and we have to now. And I will say this, I actually, in the last few games with a few of our players back, felt a lot more comfortable when our subs were being made because of who was coming on. And I feel so much better when I see Smith-Rowe warming up, or I see Trossard warming up. When I'm seeing Eddie and Reece Nelson, I've got nothing against them two, Lee, but I don't feel me with much joy. I just know, this is going to be 2-0 to Liverpool then, like when they were both coming on. Whereas when actually you saw the players coming on, even against West Ham, I think Smith-Rowe come on. And then against Palace, you saw Smith-Rowe come on. I thought, do you know what? Actually, this is better to bring on the Trossards, the Smith-Rowes, and even, dare I say it, Kai Havertz in that number 9 role. That to me would fill me with a lot more, and Partey you've just mentioned. I'd be like, do you know what? There's some good subs coming on there now. With Timber and Tommy Asu still to come back as well. Yeah, that's actually starting to show us with a fully fit squad, which we never will have, by the way. We have actually now got some subs, which is why in the summer, because it ain't going to be this window, we need to get those 4 signings in that we still lack, because we've got 16 players, we need 20. And that's why you start looking at the bench then and go, oh, yeah, he's got bloody hell. This is what we want. At the moment, it's like, oh, bloody like Nelson, but he's got to come on for Saka now. That's going to downgrade us. Oh, Eddie's got to come on for Jesus. That's going to downgrade us. Whereas we actually see the players coming on of late. Yeah, fair play. Trossard's come on and done a good job. Smith-Rowe's, we've talked about. Kai Havertz coming on in that sort of number 9. Olivier Giroud, I call it. He's not as good as Giroud, but you get what I'm saying. That different dimension type striker. That's what I want to be seeing. So actually, that does fill me with a bit more confidence, judges.
Yeah. There's an interesting comment from Adam there. Would you play Havertz up front and maybe Jesus on the flank? I wouldn't, if I'll be honest. I think I thought Trossard, by the way, was outstanding when he came on. Like, you know what I mean? I really did. And if you're going to leave Jesus out, I would play Trossard in that role. Like, you know, I thought he was brilliant when he came on. I really do. Like, you know, I have to say that. I was impressed with that, like, you know. So, and what also, Dan, what I'm going to say this about Trossard is that he must have been down after being left out in the last, after he played so well in that game against Palace, because he did play really, really well that day. Don't forget, scored as well. But to come on and show that, I thought was fantastic from him, like, you know. I like it when Jesus is up front. I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean. I know that it's not quite clicked this time, like, you know, but if Arsenal are going to do bits this season, Dan, them four have got to click, and I felt in the first half they didn't click, and if we're to beat Liverpool on Sunday, they have all got to click, and that's Odegaard as well. I think Odegaard. I watched his game back yesterday. I thought I'd have a little look back at what he was doing, and I was a little bit, you know, I didn't think he played well. He did play well, but there was parts of the game what let him down. You know what I mean? His final pass, his final when he should have shot, decision making. But there was some bits of his play which was fantastic. But he's got to get back onto the performances of last season, Dan. Now, I don't know why he's not producing that. A couple of people have suggested maybe because Thomas Partey's not there. That's why he's not been quite as effective, because Thomas Partey can get the ball to him a little bit quicker than what we do at this moment in time. I don't know. But if Arsenal are to go on to, he has got to up his game. And I don't mean that like that he's playing bad at the moment, but he's got up to his game, because he's the link for them for the three up front. I'm with you on that. There was bits from Martinelli I liked, and he was, you know, in and out of the game. If you want to, even Saka I thought was okay. I didn't think he was fantastic in the game, but that's why you keep Saka in the team, Dan. I know you said like leave him out the other day. That's why he stays in the team, because he's got that. He's got that thing that he can produce. But that front four has got to start clicking, and if it clicks, then Arsenal are going to be in a much, much better place. But and listen, everyone, whoever plays on Sunday, has got to produce a performance, because if you don't, this bloody Liverpool will punish you and will get the result. And I can't be having that again. Like, you know, when we have got them at home, we have got to beat them. It's no good relying on other teams to eat away at this 5-point lead. We've got an opportunity to get that down to 2. We're at home. We have to do it, Dan. We have to do it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's a must. Big up to Albert, JTV. Make sure you go like and subscribe to his content. Brilliant watch along yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go check his reactions out to the goals on this channel. Albert's going to be doing our watch alongs on this channel when he can. So make sure that you stay tuned for those. Big up to Albert. Big up indeed. Hopefully I'll see you on Sunday, my bro, if you get ticket. Listen, it's going to be a big one, judges. We have to make sure that it's only a few points. If they go 8 points clear of us, I think it's title done, personally. If we lose to Liverpool, I think that will be it. So it's a massive game as far as Arsenal are concerned. Liverpool can afford to lose this one, but Arsenal really can't. That's how I see it. But obviously both teams will want to win it. I think it's, well, I mean, we're going to do a show towards that anyway, before we start getting team news and predictions and all that kind of stuff. But what I will say is that this is the next big test for us. And so far, Lee, I feel like we've kind of failed them. And I know that sounds really dodgy, because the Man City one was the one that we did actually get through, but we didn't win the North London derby. We didn't go to Stamford Bridge and pick up 3 points. We couldn't pick up 3 points at Villa or St James Park. We couldn't, go and do the business at Anfield. Every single challenge that we've had, we haven't been able to get over it yet. So let's hope that this is like the Man City one, and we actually do get across the line here, and we can put ourselves right back in the title race, because it will. This really is the black and white. It's like, are we going to be in a title race or are we not? This game is hugely, absolutely massive. So for me, let's hope that we can do it, man. I really pray with everything that I've got, and cross everything, that we can take 3 points here, because even a point won't feel like enough, will it, Lee, really?
No. I think some said, would you take a draw? No. We can't afford to draw this game. You know what I mean? We've got to, by the end of Sunday, we've got to be 2 points behind Liverpool. That's as simple as that. Like, you know, Man City, we'll still be 3 points behind because they're all going to go on a run now. There's no two ways about it. Like, you know, forget about it in a minute. We've got to try and hunt down Liverpool, let alone Manchester City. So if we don't win this game, we're going to be more points. You know, we'll be 5 points behind Liverpool and the same, maybe 6 points behind, 5 points behind Man City. You know, you can't be giving teams like that head starts now. It's like, you know what I mean, me and you racing Usain Bolt and he's got a 50-yard start. You know what I mean? We ain't catching him. Simple as that, like, you know. You've got to eat away at these points. I'm sorry, if Arsenal don't come out and don't take their chances like they listen, the last time we played them, we got early goal against them, rattled them, and we went on to win it. We've got to do the same thing. We should have been 2 or 3-0 up in the FA Cup. Simple as that, but we weren't because we missed our chances. We've got to play that same intensity. When we get those chances, we've got to bury them. And listen, Liverpool at this moment in time, and now what are we now going into? Be February the 4th when we played them.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost one game, Dan. Similar to what we was doing last season, like, yeah.
And the game they lost was robbed by VAR.
Robbed. Totally robbed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they've been fortunate along the lines, you know what I mean? Like, I weren't that impressed with them against Bournemouth in the first half. Second half I was, when Klopp got into them. And, you know, then they've destroyed Chelsea tonight. You know, if you let them play, they will play. So, you know, they're not missing Mo Salah, are they? You know what I mean? Whoever comes in, if Jota's come in and scores goals, they've got some top quality players down they have, like, you know. So for us now, we've got to beat them. Got to beat them, like, you know, and that's it as far as I'm concerned, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolute facts. Listen, people, do us a favour. Make sure you like and subscribe to this, please, please, please. Absolutely. And make sure you go over to Football Prizes and get a ticket for that Bergkamp frame. You must go and do that, people. Football Prizes, enter the raffle, enter the draw. That Bergkamp frame could be yours. So make sure that you do that. We'll be back very, very soon with content. Make sure that you like and subscribe and you follow if you haven't. If you do want to join as a member, then you can do. Right next to the like, subscribe, and then you can hit join and join as a member as well. We will see you next time. Take it easy and up the Arsenal. Latest, people.